Going on, guys? It's Jex here today. First of all, Happy New Year. I want to wish everyone a happy, successful, bright, and wonderful start to the brand new year of 2024. Just wanted to give a recap of, well, not a recap, more or less, I guess a reply for my Scuf that I have, my Reflex FPS, the one for PS5. So that video came out, I did that in around May-ish, maybe May, June, or July, one of those months. So I think it's either June or July where I bought my Scuf. So I wanted to give an update on how it's been going, what's essentially the issues is, the goods, the bads, the in-betweens, more or less, I should say. So I wanted to go over a couple of things and let you know how the controller is doing actually over the course of the past 6+ months. And a lot of people ask me, like, how's it been holding up? Has it been worth it? Should I buy one? Should I not buy one? Should I get a Battle Beaver? Or should I get a DualSense? Should I get the Envision Pro? Should I get an Xbox? Like, there's tons of options. So I'm going to go ahead and discuss that too as well. But I'm going to give you a recap of more or less the pros and the cons of this Reflex FPS that I do have for PS5. Full disclaimer, you can use this controller on PC. Just to let you know, I have gotten some comments asking if you could use it on Xbox. Cannot, unfortunately, since I bought it specifically from Scuf's website, and it says for PC/PS5. Can't use it on PS4. So if you don't have a PS5 or PC, you're just gonna have to buy the equivalent on the website. Just to let you know. But enough talking. Let's get into the good stuff, as we should say. So, how is the overall structure and build of the controller? The overall structure and build of the controller and like durability of it, for me personally, I'm not very hard on my controllers anymore like I used to be when I was in like high school. But as you get older, you take care of stuff. So the overall structural build and quality of it is really nice. Actually, it's been holding up very, very well, if I'm being quite honest. If you're used to using like a regular like PS5 or like DualSense controller, it is exponentially like lighter than that. So that is one thing you will have to get used to, more or less. But for the most part, I would say in terms of structural quality and build, it's really solid. It's holding up well. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. Like, very pleased with the overall build over the past 6 months. That's for sure. In terms of the paddles, I'll get into that next. So I only use 2 out of the 4 paddles. My right paddle is for my circle, and then my left paddle is for my triangle. So that's just my personal binds, just to let you know. So they work well for me. I do have another Scuf controller that I did buy actually. That one I might be using 4 paddles on, but for the moment I only use 2 paddles. And it works out very well for me. The paddles are very responsive and no issues, no input delay. Like when I press the paddle, it instantly goes through. The only issue I will say, so this is a con more or less, that the paddles are very cheap. They're like just hard plastic essentially, so they're nothing special compared to like the DualSense Edge or even the Xbox Series Elite 2 controller. Like the paddles are trash compared to those. I'm not gonna lie to you. And even older models of like Scuf. So if you're looking from like a premium paddle standpoint, this isn't the controller for you if you're specifically buying it for like well quality made paddles. But otherwise else, I guess the paddles are solid. I give them like maybe like a 5. They're alright. Like they're not terrible, but they could be like a lot worse, So for the most part, they get the job done. I'll say that. They get the job done. Not the most comfortable, not the best in terms of quality and build, but they get the job done. So the paddles are good. In terms of stick drift, I don't have any stick drift currently at all. So no stick drift for me. It kind of varies amongst the person on what kind of control they get in the mail and like the shipping process. So for me personally, I haven't had any stick drift in my controllers, but I have noticed, so I guess this is stick drift, is that for some reason when I specifically play Call of Duty games, that like my character will, after like I respawn, he'll instantly like look up in the sky like as if I have stick drift. But when I'm actually running around and playing and moving my controller and character as normal, I don't have it. So I don't have strict stick drift, but I guess I do when I respawn. So I guess that might be a deal breaker for some people, but the other 99.9% of the time I don't. So I don't have any stick drift personally, so the control's been really well. So I haven't had to change out the sticks at all personally. So that's been a bonus and a positive, I would say. The instant triggers, the mouse clicks, those are still holding up extremely well. Those things are ridiculously responsive. They still have those beautiful mouse clicks, and I'll give you a little ASMR too as well. So those things are still holding up extremely well, as you can hear. So no problems with those at all whatsoever. So that's the first thing. Well, not the first thing. That's another two as well. That's another pro. So go a quick list of the pros. So the pros, I would say the build is nice. The pros, the mouse click triggers are still instant, still work perfectly fine. Paddles, another pro, they're still responsive. Cons, I would say, is the paddles, is the fact that they're cheaply made. And no stick drift too, so that's another pro. So I would say, in terms if you are looking to buy your first Scuf controller and you're on PS5 or on PC, and you have the extra money to spend and, you know, put forth that kind of money down, I personally say I think you should go for it. I know the Envision Pro just came out, but that one's on the newer side, and if you're just kind of getting started with getting a, a pro controller, I guess you can say, then I would just recommend getting this Scuf Reflex Fps. It's a good starting point, and you can kind of build from there, kind of mess around and see what you like, see what you don't like, and honestly adjust from there. If you're on console, so this is specifically for my PlayStation 5 users, and you're looking something better than the DualSense, because I have the DualSense too as well. I never did an unboxing of it, but I was using the DualSense before my Scuf, and it's definitely going to be a night and day difference between your DualSense Edge and a Scuf. The paddles are going to feel way better on your DualSense Edge versus the Scuf, just to let you know. The only way you can kind of get those like instant triggers or like reduced time for ADS is only on the DualSense. You only get L2 and R2 versus the Scuf having it on L1 and R1 and L2 and R2. So that's the only downfall of the DualSense Edge, is the fact that it's not on your L1 and R1. So that's one thing too, so that could be a little bit better. But back to the main topic, I would recommend, if you have the extra money, buy this controller. Take the rumbles out. You don't really need the vibration, and for being quite honest, you're going to be mainly probably running this on FPS games, and you don't really need to feel the vibration, more or less. Most people turn that off unless you're playing like some type of other game. But since you're buying this controller, you're probably buying it for like Call of Duty, maybe like Apex, Fortnite, anything along those lines, or whatever other FPS games you play, like Rainbow Six, Overwatch, stuff like that. So if you've got the money to invest into this controller or into your gaming setup, I highly recommend this one personally. It's been treating me very well. I don't have any issues with the controller. Actually, I lied. There is another issue I just thought of. So recently I was actually trying to use 2 paddles to get to 4 paddles in total for my Scuf, and for some reason I'm not able to program the back 2 buttons, like the middle ones. I'm not able to map those buttons to those back buttons for some reason. Like I can't remap it to the paddles for some reason, and I've tried switching the input, resetting the controller, so that's another con. So do be very wary or careful of the fact. So when you get your Scuf, I would almost say not bind it immediately, but make a couple different profiles just in case if anything goes wrong and you're not able to program in the future, like me. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I have an extra Scuf, like a brand new one, just sitting in a box, but I still want to use this one because it works perfectly fine. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But that's one thing I did notice, that for some reason the other back 2 buttons that don't have paddles, I can't remap those for some reason. Even when I put the paddles on there, switch the profiles, reset the controller, reset everything, it doesn't work for some reason. So it's really weird though, but the buttons work though when I switch inputs and / profiles. So I don't know, remains to be seen. But yeah, overall I would say buy yourself a Scuf if you got the money, and if not, there are some good alternative options out there, and go from there essentially. And at the end of the day, make whatever choice you want to make. Hopefully this video was helpful in terms of you buying one, or just educational wise. Whatever you take from it, just go for it, more or less. But thank you guys very much for watching, and I know I haven't uploaded very much, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things here and there. It's just been really stale. But you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.